Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the reality community. Drag the
Ooh.
girls. What's up?
The mic
It was a where we drag the girls. Per. If you don't know the series, this is a series where we drag the evicted house guests because they all deserve to be dragged, and this is a very special drag.
Because this is for KKK Kyle. Yes, I said it. KKK. Hi, y'all. Because some of the girls, they're being a little too nice, I fear. Production, some of the other fans, I don't know. I won't be showing Kyle any grace around these parts, I fear.
So, I wanted to start off this video, and I wanted to address some of these. There's a specific comment that was made under our Kyle Capener's race war video. Go check that out. Comments, like, subscribe.
Yeah, because this is only gonna be a few minutes. You want to see us really get into his ass?
You want to see us really get into it? But these comments, I feel like, honestly, I hate to say it to the person who wrote it, but I think it really exemplifies an ignorant, non-POC view of the situation. And honestly, clearly, I'm just gonna clear up that view for them, for y'all, for whomever it may concern. So this person said, I have 3 questions and I seriously cannot wrap my head around for anyone. I don't know what that means. Okay, but anyways, the first question is, how is it racist to question the possibility of another cookout? I think this is a good question. So let me explain it to the people who might not understand. So
the slow pokes in the back.
The reason that it is racist for Kyle to, in the manner that he did, first of all, I just want to clear it up. I don't think that Kyle is a just blatant, aggressive, racist person. I think what he did was racial. I think what he did was racist. I think a lot of the nuances behind his actions are racially aggressive, honestly, 100%. Racially motivated. So the reason that him assuming that there was a Cookout 2.0 seems racially motivated is because, one, he clearly doesn't understand the reason for the cookout. And a lot of people who ask this question, I don't believe, understand why the cookout did what they did. And that alone shows racial ignorance, because the reason they did what they did was based on representation and wanting someone to be represented in the Black community. Someone is not represented in the Black community. So the cookout has achieved its goal, right? So past that part, also, the reason that it is also racially motivated is because of the fact that there was no evidence of this. People kind of say, this was the main alliance last season. Why don't you think of it this season? That's like after BB12, in BB13, no, after BB, what the fuck season was that? Yes, after BB12 and BB13, them saying, all the boys just have to go, and we have to get all the boys, and all the girls have to make an alliance because the last alliance was the brigade. It sounds like it makes sense, but it doesn't, which is why it didn't happen. I think another
reason why it really just does not make any sense, especially in this scenario, is because the Cookout 2.0 was Black house guests to try to represent a Black winner. He was grouping Joseph, who's Middle Eastern, Indy, who's a Brazilian, in this 6-person alliance based off nothing, like Farrell mentioned, of actual fact. And that's the thing. Not only was it racially charged, it's also stupid for his game, because he was actively, in doing so, starting to group people together that was 100% loyal to him, who was in an alliance that he had created, and was now saying, okay, I cannot work with them. I'm going to go out of my way to form this Final Two with Turner, who literally just got him out this week. I'm going to go out of my way to form a close connection with Michael and Brittany, who also worked to get him out this week. I'm going to go out of my way to try and get this allegiance of only white people together, based on an assumption from last year. And if you can't even conceptualize why that's wrong, could you at least see why that would be unfair to the other POC house guests? So Monty, Joseph, Taylor are now seen as this group that is pretty powerful, which, if we're going to be honest, if the POC did work together this season, it would have been an iconic alliance, a very powerful group that he should have been scared of. But they weren't actually working together, because they're not all going to work together based off race. Like, it's just dumb to assume that based off what other people did last season. You're not giving these people a fair shot. And I think that is at the core of what racism and prejudice is, not giving someone a fair shot for how they look. You can't sit up here and say, oh, all the POC are going to work together every season because it happened one time, and it wasn't even all technically POC. It was mainly for Black representation. Even though Kyle and Hannah are biracial, it was mainly for the Black representation, which they had did. So that's why it doesn't make any sense. Imagine if after BB22, when all of the white people joined together, and like you fans try to always mention Black people aren't allowed to be upset about, what if in BB23, well, I guess that's how they see it, what if in BB23 they assume, oh, obviously Kristen, Travis, Brent, all of them are all working together, so we have to get them out. That's not what happened. That's not what happened. Like I keep mentioning, the cookout came together for a cause bigger than the game. What Kyle was doing was grouping others together for a cause that they were not even privy to. That's not fair, and it wasn't even a smart game move.
Period. And that can just go on for seasons and seasons. That's like in BB22, them saying there's definitely going to be an 8-person alliance called the Undeniable, whatever the fuck they're called. And we have to make sure that there's not a Grateful this season. So let's have 8 people make sure that there's not going to be another 8-person alliance. That's like during BB21, them saying, oh, there's definitely going to be a level 6. So let's make sure that no one who looks like Tyler, Angela, JC, and them work together because there's definitely going to be a level 6. That's like in BB20, them saying Paul's going to come in and he's going to make a double alliance. It doesn't make sense to assume that the previous majority alliance is going to be this majority alliance. Just because. So basically, his reason was literally because they were Black. He admitted that. If you don't agree, because they were people of color, he admitted it. And that was his only piece of evidence. His only piece of evidence was their race. That's not good. Let's go to the next question. The next question is, Taylor says she cannot vote out a Black woman. Is Taylor saying she cannot vote out a Black woman racist? The short answer is no. The long answer is because Taylor saying that she doesn't want to vote out a Black woman is because of representation. Whether Taylor and Jasmine were both Black women, green women, yellow women, blue women, Taylor would have said the same thing. It's not because they're Black. It's because they're not represented. There has never been a Black woman to ever win Big Brother. Therefore, because there's never been a Black woman to ever win Big Brother, she is justified to say that we are underrepresented. So I don't want to nominate another Black woman because we are underrepresented in the winners category, which goes into my next question and the last question. If Kyle said he cannot vote out a white woman, is that racist? It kind of is because there's no reason. Why?
Yeah.
The reason Taylor doesn't want to nominate Jasmine is because there's never been a Black winner. She wants representation. She wants someone who looks like her, who loves this show, to be represented in the winner's circle. Why doesn't Kyle? If Kyle said that, why wouldn't? Why? What's his reason?
There's been several white women winners.
There's been white women winners, white men winners. So he doesn't have a reason. He doesn't have a representation reason. So I'm done with that. Boom. Let's get into this concept. So the concept that is happening right now is a grace concept. A lot of people are starting to feel like Kyle is needing a form of grace and acceptance
and compassion. And it's like, I do want to say, as a Black person, you are allowed to feel however way you want to feel about it. However, I do not like the people who are trying to actively police the people who are upset. As a Black man, I'm very upset. I do not like his actions, and I have every right to call him out. If you don't like it, you don't like it, but I'm still going to do it because I can do that on a personal level. I can sit up here as a fan of the game and say Kyle was playing a great game before the racial biases kicked in. He could have had the potential of being a great player, and even when the racial biases kicked in, he made moves that got him far into the game. Like, as a fan of the game, I can say those things. As a Black man, I'm allowed to feel offended, and I'm allowed to be pissed off. And I just really don't understand what is the point of pushing us as Black people. We have to show him this grace, this compassion, because at the end of the day, if you watch the episode today, production's already doing that. We have to be realistic here. Kyle is a white, privileged man in America. At 30 years old, he is able to be unemployed, living with his mama, still dancing on TikTok shirtless, and he gets casted to be on a show to win $750,000. That's privilege in itself, babe. And you want me to tell you want us to now, I feel like, in my opinion, just not necessarily ignore what he did, but to give that pass of, oh, well, he was ignorant and he didn't know any better. Baby, you're 30 years old.
How don't you know?
That's like, not, and I'm sorry, I'm not going to sit up here and show grace for that. Ignorance is not an excuse. Because at the end of the day, why do we have to hold back a little bit when at the end of the day, he's going to come out of this house and have supporters? All those white racist people are supporting him down. They're on Facebook doing it right now. Okay, so if they're supporting him coming out and then we're sitting here showing him grace, where is the learning factor going to come in? Where is the responsibility for his actions? I mean, we saw it happen in this house. You have Terrence wanting to keep him. You have Turner wanting to keep him. You have Alyssa still popping her pussy for this nigga after he was just admittedly saying he's a racist. This is what happens with white people in America. Because of their privilege, they're able to do these things, and we're supposed to show them grace. We're supposed to give them leeway. I don't fuck with that bullshit. And it shows in this episode today. Like I mentioned, it is very good that Michael and Brittany are getting their lashings. They deserve so. Sitting on this information is very fucked up, and we're going to address it when we drag them. But at the end of the day, I don't like this pass that Kyle is getting for his ignorance. I mean, even in this situation, they're dragging the fuck out of Michael and Brittany for this. The right race is not dragging Kyle. They've never had an issue with this. He's always going to go home to the support system. You see what I'm saying? So I just don't think that, I mean, personally, calling him KK Kyle is something that's going to ruin his life. Because frankly, it's not. His TikTok following is still growing. It is, because at the end of the day, as a white male, he's always going to have white fans that are never going to give a fuck about anything we're saying. Like, let's just be honest. Let's be 100% honest. This does not affect his white Caucasian world. He's not going to lose a job because he didn't have one. He's not going to lose friends because they probably all agree and encourage the behavior. Let's be 1000% honest. If anything, he's going right back to that bubble in Utah, and his mama loves letting him out again. Like, let's be serious here. He's a grown man. Let's hold him accountable for the actions. If that involves calling him KK Kyle, if that involves me wanting to call him a Klansman, if I want to use the word racism as a black man, I'm going to do so. Because what his actions were racist. And guess what? If it walked like a duck, and it quacked like a duck, I'm gonna call it a motherfucking duck.
I know that's the fuck right. The fuck? No, I fully 100% agree with Lee. Can we? I think, I don't know if it's because of how he looks or whatever. A lot of people are babying this man. They're acting like
a 30-year-old, by the way,
is not 30. Let's think about what the fuck 30 means. You've been to elementary school. That's your education. You've been to middle school. You've been to high school. I don't know if you've been to college, but you've been through the time period that you should have been in college. This man is 30. What do you mean educate? It is 2022. We do not need to be sitting here sugarcoating racism in 2022 and saying you need to be educated in 2022 with the motherfucking internet. This nigga has a TikTok. Y'all seen it. If you wanted to be educated, you would have been educated. Don't get this bullshit. I'm coming on this show because I want to get educated. I want to leave the bubble. Baby, you were on TikTok. You're famous, babe, on TikTok.
You're literally on TikTok.
So you could have. Google is on your phone that you use for TikTok.
Very free.
Baby, on Facebook, on Instagram, on all social media platforms, on all internet browsers. You could be researching and looking this shit up. Bitch, you can go to books.org and buy you a motherfucking book if you want to learn about
books,
fucking
babe.
racism.
The local library. Get you a card.
The local fucking library. Whatever the fuck you needed to do to be educated. It is too motherfucking late in the motherfucking world of society for people to be saying,
2022.
For people to be claiming ignorance. You can't claim ignorance on racism. Way. You don't know what the fuck racism is. You don't know what microaggression is in 2022, September motherfucking 1st. I think the fuck not, you trick ass bitch. You're a fucking racist.
Oop, get him.
And I said it like I will be calling you KKK,
and I will continue to.
And I will continue to.
And why it's also, I want to touch up on why it's important that for me, I'm not going to let this excuse stop me from feeling the way I feel. At the end of the day, after this ends, I will definitely drag accordingly, but I'm not going to be sitting on this for years to come. Kyle is going to be out of my mind once this season ends, like 100%, honestly. But here's the thing. Like I mentioned earlier, when he goes back into the real world, he's not going to lose anything he had going in when it comes to connections, when it comes to friendships and things like that. And like I said, that was shown in the house. And at the end of the day, him being labeled as a racist, which is not even by everyone, it's by a very small group of Twitter profiles who are some nameless and profilers. Like, let's be honest. A small group is calling him racist, and he has a big support group coming out. At the end of the day, a white person being labeled a racist in these days is so common. They said that they run to defend each other when that happens. You have to realize that they run to defend him. He's always going to have that support system. On the other end, for example, the things that Kyle was doing literally could, on a bigger scale, impact them. Like, for example, even now, Kyle is going home because of things that he said and he did. If all the white people had gang together, that means Joseph, along with the other POC players, would have gotten taken out for stuff that the Cookout did? Like, be for real. I think that is a perfect example of how racism directly affect POC people. Kyle is going to live lavishly after this. I'm telling y'all. If this was flipped on the other end, I mean, we saw what happened with Taylor. There were people outside of the house dragging Taylor just as much as they were inside of the house. She had a big support system, but at the end of the day, her life would have been impacted in a very different way. You realize Taylor's going to come out of this house, and everyone in Mama probably, a lot of people are going to be in her DMs calling her all type of N-words and things like that. You don't see Kyle, you don't see Kyle or those other white Big Brother players coming up to say, hey, guys, don't do that. Don't say those things. Do not, because they don't give a fuck. When do they ever show compassion to us? When do they ever show grace to us? And I'm not saying it's a tit for tat thing. However, as a Black person, I'm allowed to be upset with it. And I'm not in everybody else's name. I'm a comment saying, why are you showing him grace? Why are you showing this grace? I'm making this video and saying it because I'm on my platform and I'm voicing my opinion. But I hate the people who want to get into other people's comments. Well, I mean, you should forgive him, and that's not what this is. I don't care. At all. Nothing you can say is going to change my opinion about this. Do I think Kyle is some terrible person that's going straight to hell? Not at all. Do I think he needs to be called out for his actions? Yes, and I'm going to continue to do so. Because at the end of the day, once he leaves this house, after the finale wraps, he can close his comments. He don't have a Twitter anyway. Turn off his comments on TikTok, turn off his comments on Instagram, and go right back to the privileged white lifestyle he had. While other white players are going to see what Kyle did, see the support he's getting, come into this game and do the exact same thing and group POCs together, which will cause them to lose the game. These are things that happens with the stuff that Kyle is pushing.
Period. I feel like, I just want to say that I feel like there is a difference between being nice and being kind. I feel like you can choose to be nice to Kyle if you would like. You can choose to be kind to Kyle if you would like. Blah, 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 woo. Me, I'm mean. I'm a mean bitch. I don't give a fuck about Kyle. However, I'm not going to not be kind in my heart. I feel like being kind is something within yourself. I'm not going to go and tell his family they need to die. I don't think y'all should go tell his family they need to die. I'm not, but actually, I don't care. But I'm not going to tell his family they need to die. I'm not going to tell him he needs to go kill himself. I'm not going to.
Yeah, I'm not doing all of that.
I'm not telling his family these things. And I feel like that's the line that shouldn't be crossed. But other than that line that shouldn't be crossed of sending death threats or bullying him or being rude and mean to him, unpronounced outside of the game, after the game, I feel like that's a totally different thing than within your own space, on your own platform, on your own Twitter, calling this man KKK Kyle or calling this man a racist. That's within yourself. That's what you're doing on your platform, in your space. It's different than going in this man's DMs. It's different than going to this man's house, to this man's crib, to his family and parents' DMs. And that's the separation between kindness and niceness. And one thing about me is I'm kind, but I'm not nice. I am mean. I don't like him. Yeah. Period. So let's get that distinction and let's make that clear. The fuck?
Yeah, because I'm a day one Taylor stan, and we see how graceful and nice and all of the passion she has shown. I'm not her. I didn't win Miss Congeniality. And that's the thing. If you think this opinion is immature, I guess I'm immature. If you think this opinion is racist, I guess I'm racist. If you think this opinion is reverse racism, whatever the fuck, I don't care. I guess that's what I am, babe. I guess that's what I am. And I'm going to stand by my opinion. And Kyle will still be racist. So now what?
Period. I'm the fuck done. If you're Black, first of all, if you're not Black, your opinion really doesn't matter. And if you're Black and you feel like you want to show him grace, congratulations. I don't. Bye. You done?